we're going to analyze their mocks. Dane Brugler of The Athletic, Lance Zierlein of NFL.com, because Daniel Jeremiah hasn't had one in a few weeks. And then we're going to do the Mel Kiper, Field Yates, Franken mock that happened just the other day on ESPN. So those three mocks, we're going to go through each pick, what each of them had, and then we're going to say which is the best one. Which one would that team most want of the guys that are given to them? So we'll start right off the top. Tennessee Titans. No intro here. No first off the ball. Just straight into this mock. Tennessee Titans. No surprises here. Brugler, Zierlein, Kiper Yates all went Cam Ward. We don't have to discuss it. It's going to happen. Can't wait to see what happens. All right, Cleveland Browns. Brugler goes Travis Hunter. Field Yates, Mel Kiper go Travis Hunter. But Lance Zierlein's going Abdul Carter. So still a little split here. We discussed this one, I think, on Tuesday, right? I think we both want Abdul Carter here.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, you got the best guy in the league opposite of where Abdul Carter would be lining up. You bring him in, and it makes your defense exponentially more dangerous. And so half of my argument is that Abdul Carter belongs in Cleveland and that rush group. And the other half of my argument is that Travis Hunter does not belong in Cleveland. And Travis Hunter belongs down the line here, and we're going to get to that very shortly.
No, I'm right there with you. It just, yes, you need a weapon. And yes, I think like wide receiver might be qualified as a bigger need and all that. But just, I don't know if we've seen, I just can't remember the last time we've seen a duo that would look like Myles Garrett, Abdul Carter, right? Like, I don't know. I can't remember the last time. But like,
well, the last duo that strikes fear into me, like this group would, and this group probably strikes more fear into me. Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, 2016, right?
They won a Super Bowl.
2016. Yes. That was the blueprint for it. Yes. And I often talk about blueprints historically in the offensive line and how these groups come together. I talk about New Orleans often with Jari Evans and Carl Nix and all these studs. Take a look at Denver back then. They had two of the best guys in the league rushing the passer opposite one another, and it ended up being a great investment. And I could see the same thing happening in Cleveland. If you got question marks in your quarterback room, let's just bleed these suckers out with our defensive prowess. Start there, build your team.
And then for the same token, obviously number 3 is the New York Giants. Brugler has Abdul Carter. Kiper Yates have Abdul Carter. And then Lance Zierlein has Travis Hunter. I think we're siding with Zierlein here. Like we just like that combo of Hunter Neighbors, Carter Garrett. That's it, those. Dude. It makes those units sick, right? You just get elite units.
Remember NBA Jam? There was 3 players on each of the teams. So like you pick the Bulls, and it's let's say for example, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Luke Longley. You know, like you're looking to get your package deal. And whatever your star package is, offensively or defensively, and both these teams can get it if we go a zero line here at the 2.
All right. New England Patriots, a unanimous pick. This one surprises me a little that it's unanimous, but everyone, Brugler, Zierlein, Kiper Yates, Will Campbell of LSU, the offensive tackle. So no decision here. They're going Will Campbell. I wonder if this, do we think there's a chance it goes any other way on draft day? Or do we think this one's kind of
it
just
totally could go any other way, Mike. But at the end of the day, the lore of the New England Patriots is in their positional versatility on not only the defensive side of the ball, but clearly on the offensive side of the ball. If we've got 3 of the top mock drafters slotting Will Campbell in, there's a reason for that. And I think his blueprint is I can play tackle, I can play guard. Shit, if our center goes down, I'll probably be one of the best centers in the National Football League if you put me in there. So Mike Vrabel understands the advantages of having this type of versatility on the defensive side of the ball. This is a guy that rushed the passer, played the run, and caught passes in the red zone, Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
He's like, give me the O-line version of myself.
No, I buy it. And to me, NFL readiness, he's probably more NFL ready than the other top tackles, right? Whether it's Kelvin Banks, whether it's Armand Membu, or obviously Josh Simmons, because he may not even play early on. So number 5, Jacksonville Jaguars. We have NFL.com and ESPN going Mason Graham, and then The Athletic going Ashton Jeanty. Woo! with Travis Etienne on the roster, already with gosh, I'm blanking on the other guy's name from Auburn on the roster at the running back position. Going Ashton Jeanty. I know that Pete Prisco floated this one out there the other day, though, that it's a possibility for them. Tank Bigsby, yikes. Which one do we like here better?
I have what is the word? What's the phrase people use when they're watching a TV show and there's two characters that meet each other and you're like, I see them hooking up. Shipping? I'm pitching.
Oh, shipping. There you go. Yes, that is it.
I haven't shipped Jags and Jeanty.
I think you knew that, and you just had to play dumb for a second. You had
to just feel. I was going to say pitching, like a sales pitch. Yeah. Well, I'm still making a sales pitch for Chip Kelly to inherit the talent of Ashton Jeanty in Las Vegas. So I'm going to have to roll with Zierlein, Kuiper, and Yates and their Frank and Mock. I think any addition that you have to the defensive front, and you love Mason Graham, you're really high on him, that is really the anti-venom for a good offense, because even the Kansas City Chiefs going against that group, against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, they were just outmatched. You can never have enough talent on the defensive front, particularly these guys on rookie deals. You might get some really great years out of Mason Graham before he becomes relatively expensive. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I love the Mason Graham fit. I'm leaning that. And James Gladstone, new GM, said, we didn't sign any defensive linemen because we're going to draft some defensive linemen and we want them to see the football field. Went out and said it in the press conference. So fully expect at number 5 that to be the case. All right, a couple more before we take a break here. Las Vegas Raiders. This one, a few different guys. We have Brugler going Mason Graham, Zierlein going Jalen Walker, and then the ESPN mock going Ashton Jeanty. I don't know. This one I had to debate a little bit in my head. What do you think?
Hey, look, nobody's going to be pissed off if Mason Graham or Jalen Walker are available and they end up going to the Las Vegas Raiders. They're good. They're great football players and, game-changing type talents. But so is Ashton Jeanty. And I know that there's a lot of talk oftentimes about, is this guy an example or an exception? Saquon Barkley is usually the exception to the rule at running back that can really change everything for your offense. But as we talked about yesterday, unless you've got that powerhouse of an offensive line, you're not going to be hitting those home runs that Philadelphia hits. Yeah, you can keep 4 to 6 yards in the clip in your running game with a great running back like Ashton Jeanty, which is why I agree with Ashton Jeanty going to the Las Vegas Raiders, particularly with the 2 tight end sets that Chip's going to get into, balanced formations, the do-it-all ability for Jeanty. I love this one there. But Mason's already off the board, and Jalen Walker's coming up for somebody else. So Ashton Jeanty, I've seen it. It's been written. The writing's on the wall for Ashton Jeanty to be in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I honestly probably would prefer Mason Graham of all these options. Obviously, may not even be an option for them, but I don't see the Jalen Walker fit at all, truthfully. You have Max Crosby, who's a Raider for life at this point. You drafted Tyree Wilson in the top 10 just a couple years ago. And you got Malcolm Kuntz, who was a budding edge rusher before he tore his ACL and missed all of last season. That's I don't want to say like no one's ever full up on the edge, right? You can always add more talent there. But I just think the path to him to see the football field right now is pretty slim pickings. So I'm going Mason Graham. Mason Graham, Christian Wilkins. That's a sick interior. You have a elite defensive line. Should you add Mason Graham to that? So that's where I would lean. Should it be a conversation, should the Jaguars go Ashton Jeanty? So, all right, number 7, New York Jets. We got a consensus here. Brugler, Zierlein, ESPN, all going Armand Membou. And I've mocked this one myself. This one makes too much sense. You have a buddingly awesome offensive line at every single position but right tackle, right? It's like great. Big question mark. And here you have a guy here in Armand Membou who 3 years of right tackle at Mizzou, only played guard and right tackle in high school. Like he is slotted. Like you want him. If you have a right tackle need, this is the guy you want to draft.
This is your right tackle day one. And there's a reason it's a consensus at number 7 here. And there's a lot of people who like him more than Kelvin Banks. And we love Kelvin Banks. But Armand Membou plugged into that unit with that rushing attack, with having Justin Fields in the backfield. It's going to be a dangerous combination. If this is the direction the Jets go, I think everybody would agree that it is the right move.
All right, number 8, Carolina Panthers. We have Brugler going Jalen Walker. We have ESPN going Jalen Walker. And we have Zierlein going Michael Williams. I'll just say this. I think we're going to both agree on the Jalen Walker fit because Michael Williams is like the Jadeveon Clowney for that. Like, you already have a guy who you don't want dropping into coverage off the edge, right? And you have an interior now after signing Turk Wharton that's kind of full up, right? You have Turk Wharton. You have Bobby Brown to play nose tackle and Derek Brown to play nose tackle should he be back and fully healthy this year. Assume he will be. But it's like you run into the same problem with Michael Williams that he had at Georgia where there's no great fit for him along that defensive line, whereas Jalen Walker is exactly what they're missing. Is like that true 3-4 outside linebacker, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you mentioned fit. And as you and I know, on the defensive side of the ball, fit is very important. And it's rare that guys have the ability to move around and play different positions. But if you're the Carolina Panthers, you are drooling at the opportunity to get either one of these guys on your roster, these defensive players, and Jalen Walker and Michael Williams. I think Jalen Walker is more of the game-changing type player for you. And to your point about his fit, I think it would work well in Carolina.
All right, on to the New Orleans Saints, where our first one where there's no even double up. It's all over the map here. We have Brugler going Tet McMillan, the Arizona wide receiver. We have Zierlein going Jihad Campbell, the Alabama linebacker. And then we got the ESPN mock. Well, Shedeur Sanders makes its first appearance here to the New Orleans Saints. What say you about this one?
I think Shedeur Sanders could be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I really do. And, you know, with all the stuff that's happened in New Orleans financially, it would be nice to kind of reset at the quarterback position and have your guy for the future and develop with your young head coach and have the ability to really nurture an offense that's tailor-made to a guy as opposed to trying to piecemeal things with the old regime. And stop me if I'm wrong, but I mean, Shedeur Sanders, it would be fun to watch him in New Orleans. I think he's a great culture fit. Obviously, New Orleans is a really unique city. Shedeur Sanders, a very unique guy, acquired taste. And as I said yesterday, I'm a big fan of him. And I think that New Orleans will be a great opportunity with that new regime.
I'm going to go different here. I think, and again, if they drafted Shedeur Sanders, quarterback scouting, like, we don't know. And they're in a position where they obviously are going to need a quarterback in the future. So I'm never going to criticize someone too hard for drafting a quarterback top 10. The same way, like when Michael Penix got drafted last year, I was like, hey, we'll see. Like, you just never know on these guys.
And then they had the shootout in the nation's capital with Michael Penix and Jaden Danielson. We were like, okay.
I thought you were going to say with Brian Robinson, unfortunately.
Brian Robinson. Right. What a badass, though.
Yeah, dude, right? But the thing about Saints is I think even if you draft Shedeur, you're not going to be good this year. And I'm looking at next year's quarterback class, and I'm looking at this roster. I'm like, if I start Shedeur Sanders for 17 games, I'm probably ending up with a top 5 to 10 pick again. Or if I start Spencer Rattler, I'm probably ending up with a top 5 to 10 pick again, unfortunately. That's the way this is kind of breaking for the New Orleans Saints and the situation they're in. And I like guys like Arch Manning next year. I like guys like, the LSU quarterback, who I'm blanking on, who I think his dad's the quarterback coach for the Saints. So there's a lot of tea leaves about next year's quarterback class. There's just a lot to like about next year's quarterback class that I'm passing this year. And I'm going of these guys, Tet McMillan. I don't see the Jihad Campbell logic at all. I'd much rather go Shedeur before Jihad Campbell because with New Orleans Saints, again, when you're in a bad cap situation, you have to find avenues to save money, right? To get back into the good graces of the cap.
So get the expensive players for cheap.
Boom, right there. Yes, because
linebackers are cheap. We can get them.
You could go out and sign an all-pro linebacker this past year for $17 million a year. Zach Ball, right?
You're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay Tet McMillan.
Yes,
so $38 million in 4 years.
100%.
That's if you're not franchise tagging him, and then he's making $39 million in the 5th year.
And then you have the thing of this receiving core is all speed guys. You don't have a single possession type of wide receiver. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks. They're tiny. They're thin.
Zero.
Now that's, you can create an offense out of that, but you're going to struggle on 3rd and 6s. You're going to struggle in certain situations. Tet McMillan is that guy to be kind of exactly what they need in those avenues. All right, Chicago Bears. This one's becoming kind of, I don't want to say consensus, but there's a lot of smoke around Tyler Warren. We got Dane Brugler, we got ESPN going Tyler Warren, and we got Zierlein going Jeanty. Obviously, Jeanty, the word is likely to be off the board
wishful
by
thinking
10.
there.
Yes.
That's wishful thinking, Lancer. Okay, you know what? Every Bears fan in the world would love to have an Ashton Jeanty, but as you and I have talked about, he's probably going to be gone, and Tyler Warren will be available. And I've heard Ben Johnson speak about Tyler Warren's value add to the offense, not just at the tight end position, but his versatility. And that's been really the theme of the draft is versatility, from the offensive line to the guys who are playing defense. And then now at the tight end position, this guy can line up for you in short yardage, goal line as the quarterback, the up back. We see a lot of that in Kansas City. Blake Bell would get under center. The Belldozer would happen. Travis Kelce direct snaps. We're going to see stuff like that in Chicago. I love Dane, Mel, and Field going with Tyler Warren here. I think it's a slam dunk, a home run, 2 tight end sets. It'll give Cole Kmet the opportunity to flourish and become the guy that everybody has wanted him to become. Big frame, great athlete, soft hands. Let's see it open up with a guy like Tyler Warren in that offense. And Caleb Williams, he benefits the most from that.
This is an interesting conversation because these are 2 positions that have, quote unquote, been devalued. Right, that in the draft, you have a conversation about, is it worth it to take one this highly? But the one thing that is vastly different about these 2 positions is career length. You draft a tight end and he turns into, an elite tight end, which if you draft him number 10 overall, that's what
you hope. Yeah.
His career length's 15 years. You draft an elite running back, his career length's 7 to 8, right? You're double the amount of time. Look at Travis Kelce, look at Jason Witten, look at Antonio Gates. Those guys are there for decade plus on your franchise. So that's something you got to weigh. And if you are, Ben Johnson, you just got to a new spot and you want to do the things he does offensively, Tyler Warren is like tailor-made for the Chicago Bears. So there's not a lot of teams where I'd probably say, yeah, definitely I'd go Warren over Jeanty, and go Warren this high.
Oh, you muted? Mike's muted. So he also really likes the Tyler Warren pick. And you just keep talking until I hear you, Mike. Go ahead.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, I think I bounced my mic off my computer. All right,
your twerk team over there under the desk. You got to relax talking about Tyler Warren, but I'm excited too. But collateral damage here.